Hello and welcome back. In the previous lesson, we explored the working capital cycle and how different industries face different cash flow patterns. We also discussed the dangers of overcapitalization and overtrading. In this lesson, we'll learn two types of ratios, liquidity ratios and efficiency ratios, and how can we use both of these to assess signs that a business is either overcapitalized or is experiencing overtrading. Working capital ratios offer valuable insight into a business's short-term financial health and operational efficiency. These ratios, like I said before, fall into two main categories: liquidity ratios and efficiency ratios. Liquidity ratios assess whether a business has sufficient resources to meet its short-term obligations, so a company's ability basically to meet its short-term debts, while efficiency ratios evaluate how effectively a business is using its working capital to support the day-to-day operations. So, starting with liquidity ratios, there are two main liquidity ratios we need to be aware of: current ratio and quick ratio. The current ratio assesses whether a business can settle short-term liabilities using its short-term assets. It's calculated as current assets divided by current liabilities. Pretty straightforward. A current ratio of around 2.0 is generally considered healthy, though this heavily depends on industry context. An excessively high ratio may signal overcapitalization, where too much cash or inventory or receivables are being held without generating returns. A low current ratio may indicate potential liquidity concerns, as the business does not have sufficient current assets to cover current liabilities, and may indicate overtrading or liquidity risk. The quick ratio, on the other hand, refines the current ratio by excluding inventory, recognizing that inventory may not be easily or quickly converted into cash. It's calculated as current assets minus inventory divided by current liabilities. Like the current ratio, a high quick ratio suggests stronger liquidity and a greater ability to meet short-term obligations. In contrast, a lower quick ratio signals weaker liquidity and a potential greater risk of financial strain. An excessively high ratio may signal overcapitalization, and an excessively low ratio may signal overtrading. A quick ratio of around 1 or higher generally indicates sufficient liquid assets to cover current obligations, excluding inventory. Now, moving on to efficiency ratios. While liquidity ratios offer a snapshot of solvency, efficiency ratios help explain the underlying dynamics: how fast assets are converted into cash, how intensively working capital is used. There are four main efficiency ratios: inventory days, receivable days, payable days, and sales to net working capital ratio. You may have known about these from the previous lesson. The inventory holding period measures how long goods are held before being sold. It's calculated by dividing inventory by cost of sales times 365. A longer period may indicate overstocking or slow-moving items, whereas a shorter period means fast-moving items. The receivables collection period measures the average number of days customers take to pay after a credit sale. The formula is as follows: receivable days equals trade receivables over credit sales times 365. A longer period may suggest slower collection of amounts owed to the company, which in turn could mean rising risk of bad debt, whereas a shorter period suggests faster collection of amounts owed and stronger credit control. Now, the payables payment period measures how long a business takes to pay its suppliers. It's calculated as follows: trade payables divided by credit purchases or cost of sales times 365. A longer period means suppliers are being paid after longer times, which may hurt supplier relations in the long run. Now, lastly, the sales to net working capital ratio measures how efficiently a business is using its working capital to generate revenue. It's calculated as follows: sales revenue divided by net working capital. A high ratio reflects efficient use of working capital to generate sales revenue, whereas a low ratio may suggest inefficiency or maybe even overcapitalization. Now, taken together, these ratios provide a comprehensive picture of the short-term financial health and can be used to identify signs of either overcapitalization or overtrading. Indicators of overcapitalization include higher liquidity ratios, higher efficiency ratios, and lower sales to net working capital, indicating inefficiencies in managing working capital. On the other hand, indicators of overtrading include lower liquidity ratios, lower efficiency ratios, and higher sales to working capital ratios, with other indicators such as higher debt ratios, for example. So far, we've covered liquidity ratios, efficiency ratios, and how to identify signs of overcapitalization and overtrading by combining both of these in our analysis. In the coming lessons, we shall be diving into how to manage individual elements of working capital, such as inventory, receivables, and payables. So I'll see you there then. Thank you.